How's it going, guys? This is Isaac here bringing you PMC season number 4, week 5. This week we were going up against what's ShadyMExican in the Bufflalo Drills. We faced him in the IBL and came out with a win in that one, but this is an entirely different league, obviously, from the PMC. And looking at his team, yeah, I'll start the music here. Hopefully it's actually I'll make it a little bit quieter because I don't know, it might get too loud. Actually, that's too quiet, maybe. I think it's fine. I'll turn it up a little bit. Anyway, looking at his team, pretty much a lot of things I predicted. I really thought the Sneasel would come. Charizard X was an obvious. Amoonguss he needed for Tapu Koko. Mienshao looked like a good bring. Electros was a potential. I didn't really expect Manphy, which he didn't bring. He didn't bring Fortress, which is a bit unfortunate because I did prep for that thing a fair amount. And he didn't bring Sylveon, which is also okay. So yeah, if you didn't check out the team builder, make sure you go do that. That's in the description below, so you can check out that and look at my sets and whatnot. And no bottom screen, as you can see, because this is a post recording. I had the battle like I don't know, 2 hours ago or so, something like that. And you know, it probably ended at like 1.5 hours ago. So I didn't really. And there was a movie on, so I didn't really want to live record. Because there'd be stuff in the background that you could be able to hear. So yeah, anyway, let's get right into the battle. Now, we came in and I accidentally had Tentacruel instead of Blastoise because for some reason, yeah, I just forgot to switch out because I had my ICBA team in there and I forgot to switch out Tentacruel. So we had to go back into, I had to like reset and get the Blastoise in there. But after that, we just did random leads, and he led with well, the first time I just led with something random, and I led with Jirachi, and he led with Electros. But then we both just said, alright, random leads for the second time, and he actually still led with the Electros. So, Electros. So I'm going to go off in turn 1, just going to get my Topunium Z, because the way I see it is that so he has a Amoonguss and Reuniclus and Electros. So it's really the only 3 things I would really go for this move against. Because like Charizard X, it doesn't really do anything. Like, I don't really need it for Charizard X. I don't need it for Mienshao, and I don't need it for Sneasel at all. So all 3 of those I'd rather just Dazzling Gleam. So and to be honest, it will probably be best against Electros because Reuniclus can go for Recover and Amoonguss gets Regenerator. Well, they both get Regenerator, but Reuniclus usually goes like Wonder Guard, whereas Electros can't really recover. Or I'll just call it Electros. Electros can't really recover, so that's why it's really nice to get it off there, is that it's permanent damage. Whereas again, you know, both Reuniclus and Amoonguss could heal, so that's really just nice damage that I got off there. So I'm going to go into Rachi here. Try to, you know, if he goes for HP Fire, that'll only do like a quarter, like 25% to me or whatever. Would be like a mid roll there. But he ends up just switching out, which makes sense, right? You don't want to stay on Jirachi. And the Electric Surge is up, so he couldn't Spore no matter what I switched in. So yeah, I get rocks up there, which is nice. Now I'm going to go for an Iron Head, and judging by this damage, he is fully physically defensive, pretty much, because that did like a quarter. So that's pretty much how much a physically defensive Reuniclus should take, and I was calculating everything pretty much. So yeah, and then so we get to CM up, Calm Mind. So here I was hoping that I'd get the flinch, but since he got the Calm Mind up, that's a bit unfortunate. So here I'm going to switch, go into Gliscor, because I need to taunt this thing so it doesn't get too set up, because that could be an issue if he does that. And also, if he has Recover, I don't want to let him recover against me. So he does just go for a Calm Mind. Now at this point I calculate a +2. He doesn't have any offensive investment because he's physically defensive. So the only real problem I have with this is that if he has Psychic, because Psyshock I can take 2 of, and again, he can't Calm Mind on me because I'll go for Taunt this turn. I'll speed him. And so Shadow Ball does over half, but I have the Toxic or the Poison Heal, so I could just roost off the damage and kind of stall him out there. And Psyshock does even less because I'm physically defensive. But since he has Psychic, I can't stall him out. If he had Psyshock instead of Psychic, then I basically could have just taunted, which I did that turn, and then knock off Roost, EQ, and then when the taunt wears off, I can just taunt again, stop him from recovering or setting up, and basically just, you know, stall him out and maybe even force a switch. But since he has Psychic, I'm not able to stall him out. Obviously, that does way too much. I get the knockoff off, which is really nice. I get the leftovers off there, which helps. But he is going to be able to take out Reuniclus, and really now since I got the taunt off, I need to take advantage of this. I have one more turn of taunt on him, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to Levant here, and I want to click Swords Dance here so that he feels threatened, right? Because like a fully physically, like I said, the fully physically defensive Reuniclus, which he is, might die to a Stone Edge, a +2 Stone Edge, but it's a roll. Whereas if I go for a Stone Edge turn, the first turn, and it's not a 2 KO, then he could recover, which would obviously be an issue. So now, even if I can't kill him, you know, he can't recover stall me. Whereas if I had gone for a Stone Edge and then go for another one and he lives it off of a roll, then he can just recover stall me and basically sweep me at that point. But so yeah, so Swords Dance was definitely the play there. I missed the Stone Edge as he switches into Electros. I'm just gonna go for Fire Fang, make sure I hit. In fact, I probably should have gone for Accelerock there. I didn't want to reveal that I had Accelerock, but obviously Lycanrock's gonna have its signature priority move. But yeah, I do get the Fire Fang off, which also could have missed. So, you know, again, Accelerock was the play there, but luckily I hit it, so we get Electros out of the way. Now, here's Sneasel's going to come in, and I'm going to bring in Flapjack, which is my Blastoise. He's going to go for Ice Shard, which is obvious. I mean, that's why I switched out, because I did not want to take that, and this thing does naturally outspeed me, so... so yeah, he shows a Life Orb. By that much damage, he did about like 6.9%. And that means that he's Jolly Life Orb. We can tell by that. So now I'm just going to be able to go for the Scald and hopefully get a burn. He does go for SD, which is really scary. I don't get a burn, which is unfortunate. So here I'm going to switch out, go into the Tapu Koko, and I'm going to hope that he's got to knock off this turn, which is obviously. I'm going to get the Electric Surge. I'm hoping to take a knockoff plus an Ice Shard, but you can see that just does way too much. I calculated. I mean, that's just a lot. Sorry about that. I might have to do that again, actually. So, anyway, yeah, he does way too much with the knockoffs, and I know he's going for Ice Shard this turn, so I'm going to switch into Cryogonal. I should have to Life Orb stall this thing, because nothing really outspeeds this on my team. So yeah, he's gonna take Life Orb. He dies to one more Life Orb shot. Just gonna let Cryo go down since he didn't bring Manaphy or Fortress or Sylveon. There's really no point for this Cryogonal at this point. I just really needed it for that Manaphy, and Freeze Jar would do a lot of damage. And then Flash Cannon was nice for Sylveon. I could pretty much wall Sylveon and HP Fire hit Fortress, but he didn't bring any of those three. So kind of, you know, bye Cryo. Didn't really need it. So yeah, Reuniclus comes in here, as I'm gonna bring in Sunreach. It was a double down, so it's like you kind of had to predict what the opponent would bring in. So Sunreach was actually like I have 2 more turns of Electric Surge, right? So Sunreach was a good option because I basically kill anything that isn't named Amoonguss. Well, Charizard's an iffy kind of thing, but depending on his set, because the rocks are up, so that thing's gonna take half, and he has no hazard removal. So looking at the damage. It's really crucial that I get the kill, and luckily I do. You could see the recover. If I hadn't killed there, I also wanted to predict the Amoonguss there and go for HP Ice, but I just couldn't do that. So obviously Reuniclus going down, which is crucial. I mean that damage was so useful. And yeah, he's gonna go. So he goes into Charizard. I'm just gonna stay in here. If he has Roost, that's fine. He'll be able to stall me out just barely, because Dazzling Gleam won't kill this thing even if it's offensive. But we're going to get a lot of damage off on this thing, and we know we outspeed. So I'm going to go into Sunreach here. Go for the Dazzling Gleam. We get a crit on the Charizard, which is amazing. We're going to be able to take it out. He told me after the game he used D-Dance plus Roost, which would have been able to stall me out. And then I did have Blastoise in the back with Rocky Helmet plus Toxic and Roar, which could have been interesting. So it definitely would have made the game closer, but at this point... all he has is Mienshao and Amoonguss, and I'm pretty sure I can just switch into Cryptic every time on this thing. He goes for Sledge Bomb, even if he goes for Spore or anything like that, I can take it because I do have the safety goggles. Gonna go for the Zen Headbutt, and we do land it, thankfully. We're going to be able to get a lot of damage off on this thing. We're gonna flinch it, which is really nice. And then I'm just gonna go for Iron Head because I don't want to miss. Probably should have shown off the Fire Punch, but no. So yeah, so... in comes the Mein Kampf, which is the Mienshao, and Mienshao is just going to depending on the set, he could OHKO me with like a reckless boosted high jump kick. If he was like reckless Life Orb, he'd be able to OHKO me with a high jump kick, but he just goes for a knockoff. He told me actually after the game he was Choice Scarfed, which I didn't really think he would be since he didn't bring it in on like Tapu Koko or anything. I thought he would, but I guess I guess not. So anyway, I did defeat Tony, ShadyMExican. Pretty quick matchup, pretty quick game. Honestly, that crit on Charizard really changed the game. It would have been much closer. I mean, I don't know. I mean, plays, you could theorem on it all you want, but plays would have definitely impacted that. And I can't really say what each of us would have done in that situation because we weren't in it. I mean, you can say you're going to do something, but if you're not in the situation, you're not really sure, right? So anyway, yeah, that's going to be the game. Luckily, we were able to get that. I want to be able to talk about that. Once Sneasel went down and Cryogonal both went down, I went into Tapu Koko over Lycanroc, Blastoise, and Jirachi because basically Tapu Koko was good against Mienshao, Charizard, and Reuniclus, and the only mon that wasn't good against was Fungus, and I mean, I had to switch into Jirachi every single time, so I felt like Tapu Koko was the best to switch in, and if he did go into Reuniclus, that would be pretty much my best thing to take that thing on, because Lycanroc could get Recover stalled, and Blastoise could just get Calm Minded on, and then I could go for Roar, but then it runs the risk of getting into a Moongus, and that would do a lot of damage. And then Jirachi obviously cannot take on the Reuniclus unless getting a bunch of flinches, which is probably doubtful, but anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We're 3-2. I don't know why I thought it was 4-3, but yeah, 3-2. Hopefully, we're going to be able to do something next week. I'll check out who we're facing next week. You can quit out of you can X out of the video because obviously we won, But I'm just gonna check who we face in case you want to know. Week number 6. We go up against Blue Rogue, Grimsy Town Grimers, who beat us last season to beat us in the playoffs, so that we couldn't move on. That was unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.